What is up, everybody, and welcome to Rockem Sockem Power Ranking. Welcome, Sundet Fantasy Sports. I am Sean Trader Clemens. This is my co-host, Scott Run the Hurry Up Fitzgerald. What's going on today, my friend?
It has been outstanding. Playoffs are here. I've won some games, I've lost some nail biters, and just looking into next week, which is the semis in the fantasy football playoffs.
Man, we just talked about this a little bit in our live show. It's been one of those seasons, man. I just think that this is going to be one of the most epic fantasy playoffs. The matchups that we have, the high-powered offenses, the horrible defenses, the fantasy points are just going to be handing out like Oprah with cars. It is going to be amazing this weekend and next weekend, to be honest. Both week 16 and 17 look great. Scott, man, how you feeling about these power rankings today? Do you got anybody to kind of make up for after last week? I know there was some discrepancies, to say the least, on our power rankings.
Yeah, not too much movement, little bit here and there, but like I said last week, as we get to the playoff push, these rankings will tighten up a little bit. There won't be too much movement up and down. So, and I think both our power rankings will look somewhat similar between, except for a few teams here and there, but I'm happy with my rankings. I don't know about you.
Well, mine don't look anything like last week, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I haven't seen him yet. I haven't seen him yet. I mean, I'm going to see him now, but I guess we'll have something to talk about then.
Yeah, I mean, well, come on now. I mean, you know for a fact that I am not going to be keeping things the same after the Bills went out there and, won that game against the Patriots that everybody just said was not going to happen.
I know you're going to skyrocket them right up your draft board. Just overpassing all these other teams that have been there the whole year. You're just going to skyrocket them all the way past.
Hey, you know what? When you beat a team that you had ranked at number 2, I had ranked at number 3, you deserve to move up the board a little bit. Okay?
All right, we'll see how far.
Yes, we will. Before we do that, though, why don't we go ahead and look into our last week's power rankings? Rams at the top spot. That's what we all thought was going to happen, right? Patriots at 2, Seahawks at 3, Broncos at 4, Pats at 5, Texans, Bears, Niners, Lions, Bills rounding out your top 10. I think that was a solid setup for that week. I do. I wasn't far off. I had Rams, Broncos, Patriots, Seahawks, Texans, and my top 5, followed by Packers, Niners, Bears, Bills, Lions to round out the top 10. So, we didn't have a whole lot to argue about last week. So let's start off with 6 through 10, though, and get into the nitty gritty of our back end top 10. I got Patriots at 6, Bears at 7, Niners at 8, Packers at 9, and Jaguars sneaking their way in at 10. So for me, I think the Patriots dropping out of the top 5, I know you don't have the same thing, but I think they deserve to be dropped out of the top 5 for one main reason. They did not play many playoff teams at all this year, and then they lost to a playoff team that they finally played just this week. So to me, I think that it's a slight bit of fool's gold coming out of there this year. I don't think that they're quite the team that everybody thinks they are, and once they start playing playoff teams, you're going to see it, and they could be a one and done, in all honesty. So I think they deserve to be out of the top 5 after that loss. I know you don't agree, but that's where I'm at with them. I've got the Bears right there at 7. So do you. You got the Bills down there at 8. Obviously, I have them somewhere else. The Packers at 9. You have the Niners, and then we both have the Jags at 10. Scotty, tell me a little bit about why you did what you did with your guys here, and give us a little insight into those Jaguars, because I didn't talk about them, and we really should be.
Yeah, the Jaguars, we've kept them out of the top 10 for a few weeks now. We were not drinking the Kool-Aid. It looks like we're starting to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit. We're at not a full pitcher yet. We're just at a little glass, one of those little Dixie cup glasses of Kool-Aid. So we creeped them in there in the top 10. They have a huge challenge this week, going to Mile High, playing the Broncos on the road. This will really determine if they can put a win together here, or at least keep it very, very close and a close loss. Then I guess we can say that the Jaguars are definitely a real team that's pushing for the playoffs. I got the Bills back in the top 10. A big comeback win against the Patriots. And I was thinking of dropping the Packers a little bit more, but I want to see how they play after the Micah Parsons injury. I don't like to drop teams just because a guy goes down or something happens. I don't like to drop them right away because I want to see how they react the following week. Except for the Colts situation because of the quarterback. But and then the Bears and the Niners, I kind of just kept them right there. I don't think there's too much movement there. I mean, I could have probably moved the Niners maybe past the Bills, but like I said, I think that was a big win for the Bills.
Yeah, I don't think that the Niners belong anywhere near the Bills right now, so I'll just let you have that one. So let's get into our top five, though. Let's see where we started off. I have the Bills right there, baby, sneaking their way back in that top five. And then you have the Texans, which I think that's the same spot you had them last week, if I'm not mistaken, or at 6, one of the two. I'm going to talk about my Bills a little bit real quick because I think they deserve to be obviously ahead of the Patriots. Like I just explained, the Bills have beaten better competition. I know that's one of your big things is, who have they beaten and so on and so forth. And the Bills have definitely beaten better teams than the Patriots. You can at least give me that. So for me, I think the Bills belong right there in that number 5 spot. It back in the top 5 after a really, really big win in their division. Scotty, I know you don't agree with me on that one. So make your case for the Texans and then against my Bills.
I'm not going to say too much about the Texans. Their defense is really good. CJ Stroud's played a lot better. Woody Marks has been really good in the running game. So I'll spend more time on the Bills because I think that's just crazy to move them out and all the way back in past the Patriots, who they're 1-1 against.
Okay, they weren't out of my top 10 like they were for you. Okay.
Well, actually, they had to, sometimes you look at a game and you're like, did that team really beat that team, or did that team let that team beat them? So I almost want to say that the Patriots were beating them, were winning that game 28-7. So I almost want to say that the Patriots kind of gave that game away and let the Bills creep back in. I think they're positioned perfectly at number 8, and we'll see what happens next week if they can win another game and they can continue to trend upward.
Hey, I'm just saying that I think they belong right where they're at number 5 in my rankings. I love it. Oh man. So let's move on though before Scott blows a gasket. Let's go on to number 4. That's where I have those Texans. Like you just talked about, they deserve to be ahead of the Bills after beating them. Honestly, I mean, the Texans are probably, in my opinion, the scariest team in the AFC right now. So you got those Seahawks sitting down there at 4, Scott. Why you got the Seahawks down at 4?
Because I think the 3 teams ahead of them are better.
That easy.
I mean, yeah, I do. And I mean, I like the Seahawks. I mean, I kind of probably moved them up 1, but I'm not going to move them ahead of my next team. But they've won 11 games. They have 405 points, and they have a whopping 163-point differential. So that's in a 4-game winning streak. So we'll see what happens this week. They got the Rams at home without Devontae Adams. So if they can pull off a mild upset against the Rams, there'll definitely be a big shakeup next week, and I'll definitely be moving them up.
Yeah, that when you talk about a big game, huh? We got 2 teams that are in both our top 5s duking it out on Thursday night, going into the semifinals of the fantasy football playoffs. Like, wow, right? What a way to start out the week, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Looking forward to a great one there. I believe everything you said about the Seahawks. I think they do belong to be up here in this realm. That's why I have them at 3 myself. I do think that they're a team that has got a force to be reckoned with at wide receiver, and a just good enough quarterback that can make him a superstar. So I really do think that the team has what it takes to be successful, because on top of all of the things I just said, their defense is really, really good too. So what do you think about that Seahawks at 3 versus Broncos at 3? I like your Broncos there at 3. Obviously, I have them, still coming up on my list. So
yeah, I was tempted to put them past the Patriots at number 2, which would be my next team, which you'll see later. But I still think the Patriots are a good team. I think they just gave that game away against the Bills, and and they played good this whole season. You can say what you want about the schedule, but the NFL, you have to win. It's hard to win games in the NFL. It doesn't matter who you play. You can play the Jets, you can play the Raiders. You got to win the games. So you can't take a day off. Doesn't matter who you play. So I'm not going to knock the Patriots down too much. I'm just going to leave them where they're at, and then we'll see what happens this coming week.
Well, I don't know why you spent your entire time talking about the Patriots when you were supposed to be talking about the Broncos at number 3, but okay.
Well,
Let's
I
talk
just
about
told
the
you
Patriots some more.
well, no, the Broncos, I was thinking about moving them up, but I like them right there at 3. I mean, like I said, they got a big game this week against the Jags, and if they can take out the Jags this week, then there's a possibility I'm going to move them up a little bit higher. I mean, they are the only team with 12 wins. Like I said, it was a tough decision for me between the Patriots and the Broncos.
Yeah, well, not for me, because obviously the Patriots aren't even in my top 5 because the teams that they have beat are so bad that they don't deserve to stay up there after losing to a good team finally. So, yeah, I don't think they deserve to stay anywhere near number 2, let alone above the Broncos and the Seahawks, who are both teams that I think would demolish them right now, and the Texans, to be honest. So, I just don't see any reason why they should stay at number 2. I think the Broncos belong at number 2. They're obviously the second best team in the league. Their record tells you that. One of the best players on defense in the league, and Patrick Surtain. So I don't see any reason why they don't belong in the second spot. It just doesn't make any sense to me why you have them down there below the Patriots after a loss. Just weird. But as we talked about, we both left the Rams at the top. They beat up on the Lions. They were a good team that was in our top 10 before this week. Such a good game against a team like that, and keep their composure after losing one of the best receivers in football to an injury. I just think that they belong to stay in the number 1 spot for now and for the foreseeable future. I just don't see a way, unless they lose to the Seahawks this week, that they're going to move out of that spot.
This is going to be a tremendous game. They're both, I mean, like I've already said about the Seahawks, plus 163 point differential. The Rams are right behind them at plus 159. So this is going to be a smash mouth game, on a standalone game on Thursday night. It sucks that they're out. The Rams were out without, they're probably going to be without Devontae Adams, but I still think they have enough firepower to get the job done. This is going to be a tremendous game. And if the Seahawks can pull this out, we'll see what the power rankings are next week, but there could be a huge shake in my top 5, probably along with your top 5 also.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you've got 2 teams in the top 3 duking it out, it's definitely going to be a shakeup depending on how it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these games, you got the Rams at the Seahawks Thursday, so you got, that tremendous game. Then you have the Jags going to Mile High and playing the Broncos, and then you have the Patriots going to Baltimore, which is a pretty tough team or tough place to play. So, there could be a lot of movement in the top 5 in the next week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great one. And so make sure that if you guys don't already, like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get the notification for next week's power rankings, because you're going to want to know how things turn out after this week, because I got this gut feeling in me that tells me that this is going to be an epic week for fantasy and for our power rankings. That's going to be our show for today, guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already heard, we are going to take a couple weeks off on our live show during the holidays, but we will be back for you after the new year, coming live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. West Coast time. Thank you so much for listening. For my co-host, Scott Run the Hurry Up Fitzgerald, I am Sean Trader Clem Clemens. We will see you guys next time.